Okay, so it's been 2 days. I had other things going on, stuff that I had to do for school yesterday, and then today I had some Zoom chats, and I also had to finish getting the work and the packets together to go out to the kids, which will hopefully be next week. So, Cattaraugus Little Valley kids, aside from the weekly communication, you don't have a whole lot else for me except for what has already been assigned. So, please respond and keep watching my story. So to follow up on the questions from 2 days ago, the first one was which of the following animals is not a ruminant? So we haven't really touched a whole lot on digestive systems. Most of the kids in my intro to ag class should remember the answer to that. The one in that list that did not belong is a horse, so they do have a little bit different of a stomach compared to the other choices that were there, which I think were deer, sheep, I can't remember what the third one was, but anything that sits and ruminates or stands and ruminates, which means that they chew their cud, or after they swallow it initially, they regurgitate it, swallow it again, it goes into a different section of the stomach, and it basically happens over and over again until digestion completely occurs with what is in their rumen. So, and if you remember what that plant was that I had taken a picture of and also asked what it was, a few people guessed incorrectly. It was a lilac, so if you guessed lilac and you got it correct, good job. I know that it's kind of hard with things just starting to leaf out here in Western New York, that it's kind of challenging when you're looking at a plant and trying to identify it, especially from a not so perfect picture like what I took. So I'm in the chicken coop. I haven't collected eggs today. Again, the lighting in here is not great. But this is an example of our nesting boxes before I collect the eggs. Right here you can see there was an egg that cracked. Again, when we have heavy hens that lay on multiple eggs, and sometimes they're toenail will pierce it, or I don't usually have egg eaters, so that's not usually a problem. Normally if something gets cracked, it's completely by accident. The chickens don't mean to do it. So there is such a thing as a hen being an egg eater. So that does happen sometimes, where you have a bird that for whatever reason starts it, and once they start that type of behavior, it's really hard to stop it. Luckily, I haven't had that problem, but there are remedies that people claim will work, like using ceramic eggs or using mustard. I don't even know what the mustard technique is. I've never had to do it, but there are ways that people try to combat it. Other experts that have raised chickens say that the only way to combat it, if you have nesting boxes like this scenario, where once they lay it, they have access to the egg, is to get rid of that egg-eating hen. In most situations, so like the eggs that you buy at the grocery store, usually they have rollaway nesting boxes, so that means when the chicken goes in and lays the egg, the floor is actually slanted away. This is one of my nasty and very vocal barred rocks. So the other day, like a week ago, we were doing basic chicken identification. This black and white striped is barring, and that is a barred rock. What color eggs do barred rocks lay? Okay, so I'm heading down. Man, it's getting cold out. I'm heading down to the sheep barn. I've got to take pictures of some lambs that I plan on donating to the FFA for county fair. So this is for my actual school's chapter, Cattaraugus Little Valley. And I know that for those of you that are officers that are watching, we've been discussing it. So I'll try to find some lambs that I can donate. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with Cattaraugus County, or with a county that has active ag programs like we do, like in Oswego County, we didn't have this. So the idea is that the kids get to raise and work with these animals, and then they have a livestock auction after they show them at county fair. So Oswego County doesn't have it, which is really unfortunate because I could have taken advantage of that. One thing with the whole coronavirus thing, the kids don't actually know, obviously, because county fairs still could potentially happen. So these kids are, if they're doing it on their own, because it's not always through a club like what I have, kids can raise these on their own and basically earn the money that their animals bring at the auction. So these kids that are doing it individually are still buying their animals and working with them and preparing them for the fair going to go on. So it could get canceled and all of their hard work, I mean, they still accomplished something, but they don't get the same return as if the auction actually happens at the county fair, because people are more likely to bid higher if it's a live auction. She keeps trying to photobomb the pictures that I'm trying to take for these lambs so that I can get them registered for county fair. She's definitely, like I've said before, she's my biggest baby. They think that I'm going to feed them grain, because if you know nothing about sheep or cows or pretty much any animal, they absolutely love grain. I'm gonna visit my chicks again. These are my grow out chicks that will be my future layers starting this summer. So they were hatched, I think it was February 22nd, and most of these breeds take 16 to 20 weeks before they lay their first eggs. Some of these breeds I've already talked about. This breed right here, these three that are grouped together, those are called Easter eggers. There are a few other breeds that are commonly categorized as that, like Americana is like a knockoff breed basically, but essentially they're all going to be the like similar lineage or heritage. Easter eggers usually have off-colored legs. They're usually green, so if you look at their legs, they're not the same color as some of the other chicks that are in here. And they also usually have beards or muffs. Like this one right here is pretty unique. I'm actually not 100% sure what she is. I think that she might be an olive egger of some sort, because she's got that poof off the top of her head, which is usually characteristic of a cream leg bar. So if you take a blue egg layer and cross it with a brown egg layer, you'll get an olive egg layer. And you know, chicken genetics and egg genetics, depending on what the parents lay, obviously will have an effect on what the offspring lay. So leave me alone. This one keeps trying to escape. They're not even that friendly. I don't honestly spend that much time with them. They're livestock, so they stay outside, and with the kids, I don't have time to spend with them, but they're not very shy. So joke was on me. The chickens actually needed to be fed. I didn't pay attention. My husband hadn't done the chores yet, so I'm filling up the chicken water. My chickens are laying where they shouldn't be. This is in the cow barn on the straw bale that's used for bedding.